the summer of 1984, 23 people vanished from a stretch of Wyoming ranchland in a single night. By morning, every well was silent, every house empty, and no one left alive to explain what happened. What followed would be remembered as the Wyoming Water War, but the truth was darker than the name suggests. By 1984, southeastern Wyoming had already gone 3 years without a real winter. Snowfall came late and thin, melted too fast and never soaked deep enough into the ground. Creeks that once cut clean lines through pasture land had shrunk into mud veins. Windmills spun uselessly over dry wells. And water, once assumed, once invisible, became the most valuable thing anyone owned. No one announced the war. It began the way most rural conflicts do, quietly, legally, and with paperwork. Ranchers filed complaints. County officials issued usage caps. State engineers read through allocation maps that looked neat on paper, but cut through real families and real land. The aquifer beneath Platte County was dropping faster than projections had warned. Someone had to lose access. The question was who and who would accept it. Most didn't, but some took notes. If water meant survival, what happened when survival was rationed? The Red Basin sat 30 miles from the nearest town, a shallow bowl of scrub grass, cattle fences, and 7 properties connected by one underground water line installed in the 1950s. Back then, cooperation made sense. One pump, one agreement, shared maintenance, shared access. By 1984, that agreement was unraveling. The line fed 7 ranches, but only 4 were legally registered under the updated state permits. The other 3 older deeds, inherited claims, handshake arrangements, were suddenly non-compliant. That meant shut off, not immediately, not officially, but the notice had been delivered. You have 60 days to resolve unauthorized usage. The letter was polite. The threat wasn't. At first, meetings were held, folding chairs in barns. Coffee poured into chipped mugs. Voices stayed low. Everyone knew everyone. Fathers had worked cattle together. Sons had gone to the same schools. Nobody wanted trouble, but cattle were dying. By July, calves were being sold early, thin and underweight. Wells dropped another 6 inches. Pumps coughed air. And at night, generators from the registered properties ran longer than before. Someone was taking more. No one admitted it. When water disappears, does it vanish or does someone take it? The first act of sabotage happened on July 18th. A pressure valve was found smashed near the southern spur of the line. Not broken by machinery, not worn down, hit hard with a tool. The damage redirected flow upstream, favoring the 3 registered ranches. County officials were notified. Repairs were scheduled. A warning was issued. No arrests. 2 nights later, a well cap was removed and left open. Dirt and debris fell inside. The pump seized by morning. Another ranch lost access entirely. Still no arrests. By August, men began sleeping with rifles across their knees, not to shoot, but to listen. Trucks idled longer than usual at night. Dogs barked at shadows. Windmills creaked like warning bells in the dark. The drought had done what decades of hardship never could. It turned neighbors into watchers. What happens when the law arrives too late and everyone knows it? On August 22nd, the final meeting was held. 7 men attended, 3 from registered properties, 4 from the others. No lawyers, no county officials, just landowners, and the sound of cicadas pressing against the walls. The proposal was simple. Rotate access, 12 hours on, 12 off, until winter, until rain. It failed immediately. The registered owners refused. Their permits were legal, their cattle numbers higher, their losses greater. One man stood and said something that would later be repeated in courtrooms and documentaries, though never confirmed by any surviving witness. Water isn't shared anymore. It's defended. The meeting ended without handshakes. By sunset, everyone understood what that meant. The air that night smelled like dust and hot metal. Wind carried no moisture, only grit. The ground cracked under boots like dry bone. Somewhere a generator hummed steadily, pulling water that others could hear but not reach. If no one would give, who would take? The massacre began just after midnight, not all at once, not chaotically. According to forensic reconstruction, it unfolded in stages, controlled, methodical, and silent. The pump house was first. A fire started inside, small and contained, designed to destroy equipment without drawing attention. By the time flames were visible, the main line had already lost pressure. Then the houses. Investigators later found shell casings at 4 properties, all from hunting rifles and shotguns. No handguns, no signs of struggle inside most homes. Doors were unlocked, lights off. People had been sleeping. Others were found near wells, boots on, hands on valves, as if trying to fix something that couldn't be fixed in time. There were no 911 calls, no warning shots, no survivors. How does a massacre leave no witnesses, only alignment? By dawn, smoke drifted low over the basin. Cattle stood unattended, confused, bawling at empty troughs. Windmills spun freely again, feeding nothing. A county road crew discovered the first body at 6:41 a.m., a man face down in the dirt near a collapsed pump shed. By noon the count reached 23, every adult resident connected to the water line. No children were among the dead. None had been present that night. That fact alone would fuel speculation for decades. Was it mercy or planning? The investigation drew national attention. Drought violence was not unheard of, but nothing like this. No suspects, no confessions, no ballistics matches pointing to a single shooter. Multiple calibers, multiple firing positions, no pattern of return fire. This wasn't a feud. It was a decision. Authorities called it a mutual escalation that spiraled beyond control. Locals used a different phrase. The line snapped. The water line, the social line, the moral one. The case remains officially unsolved. No arrests were ever made. The land was eventually sold, consolidated, and re-permitted under a single corporate owner. New wells were drilled, new pipes laid, water returned, but no one moved back. To this day, the Red Basin is avoided by locals. Windmills stand over dry ground like markers. And when drought warnings come across Wyoming radios each summer, old ranchers still repeat the same quiet sentence. That's what happens when survival gets scheduled.